The Battle of Walaja, also known in Arabic as معركة الولجة, 633 CE. The Battle of the Chains was the first decisive encounter between the Muslim army and the Sassanian Persians. This was an important win for the Muslims. Khalid ibn al-Walid would then chase the remaining of the troops, including the wing commanders of the Battle of the Chains, Commander Kubas and Commander Anshogan. The Persian wing commanders joined Commander Karen, another Persian commander, to fight the Muslims in the Battle of the River. This battle would also favor the Muslims as they were able to defeat the Persian army and defeat all of their commanders. This battle would increase the morale for the Muslim army and make them a formidable force. The remnants of the Sassanids in the Battle of the River would join upcoming confrontations against the Muslim armies. Yazdegerd III was furious when he received the news that his armies were defeated. He was especially disappointed in the loss of his generals. He was not expecting their defeat as they were one of the best in the empire. He understood that he needed to deal with the Rashidun army. He sent letters of recruitments to cities across the empires. The western provinces were occupied with fighting the Byzantine Empire. However, the eastern provinces responded to the letters by sending troops. Yazdegerd's plan was to make two armies from the recruitments. He wanted to create armies to defeat the valiant Muslim forces. He gathered all of the forces in the imperial capital of Ctesiphon. His armies would consist of recruits, Arab allies, and the remnants of the two previous battles. Yazdegerd III made two imperial armies. He gave the command to one of the armies to Andazargar and the other to Bahman. The purpose of this was to have two big armies to fight the Muslims at once. On the other hand, Khalid ibn al-Walid had devised a brilliant spy network. He would use the local Arabs to spy on the Persian advancements. The spies did not have to be Muslim, and some of them were even ex-combatants that had fought the Muslims in the Battle of the River and the Battle of the Chains. Yazdegerd ordered his armies to set off for the plains of Walaja. Commander Andazargar immediately set off while Bahman was slow in his advancements. Khalid's spies informed the Muslims on the location, and Khalid set off with his armies to meet Andazargar. Khalid had the brilliance of a commander that was not expected from an Arab. His tactics were the best of his era. He devised a plan in where he was going to defeat the entire Sassanian army, so the remnants do not regroup and fight them again. The second was to defeat Andazargar before Bahman joins. The two armies met in the plains of Walaja. Andazargar had 30,000 men with him. His army was comprised of 20,000 heavy infantry and 10,000 heavy cavalry. He had a simple military alignment in where he had a center and two flanks. In each section of his army he had reserves. Khalid had a similar formation in the eyes of the Sassanians. It appeared to them that the Muslims were aligned in a way in where there was a center and two sides. This part of the army that the Persians saw had 10,000 infantry and 1,000 light cavalry. The wing commanders were Adi ibn Hatim and Amr ibn Asim. This was really confusing for the Persians as they had heard that cavalry of Khalid had played a significant role in the previous battles. Khalid hid 4,000 soldiers behind the hill that were not visible to the Persians. The 4,000 soldiers were divided into two units of horsemen. Andazargar expected the Muslims to make a full charge. This benefited the Sassanians as they had reserves that they could use. Khalid ordered the Muslims to make a full-out charge against the Sassanian lines. It was a stalemate for a long time between the two armies. The stalemate went on for a long time. The Sassanians would replace their troops that were fighting the Muslims with fresh reserves. This would keep the morale of their soldiers high. Furthermore, it would also save the lives of the soldiers that were fighting. But they would retract. When Khalid saw what was going on, he ordered a slow retreat. They would keep fighting, but they would retract slowly from the Persian lines. The retreat that the Muslims made caused them to be in a crescent formation. Khalid had ordered Adi ibn Hatim and Amr ibn Asim to make a bent shape with their units. Then Khalid abruptly called the cavalry that were hiding behind the plains. When the new cavalry entered into the battle, they caused a loss of cohesion for the Sassanids. This tactic was a genius plan done by Khalid called the double envelopment tactical maneuver. In the ensuing fight, 25,000 Sassanian forces were killed. Andazagar, however, was able to flee with 5,000 soldiers. However, he died from thirst in the desert. The Muslims only lost 2,000 soldiers in this battle. This battle had great significance. It would pave the way for many more expansions that the Muslims would undertake after the Battle of Walaja. This would lead to many more battles under the Caliph Abu Bakr and his successors. The Battle of Qadisiyah, the Battle of Nahawand, and the Siege of Ctesiphon will all be covered in future videos.